Did I see you tweet a funny GIF about Kyle Shanahan the other day? I wish I had pulled this up because Jamal Adams demands a trade, John, and Schefter says he'll accept a trade to the Ravens, Cowboys, Texans, Chiefs, Eagles, Niners, and Seahawks. What did you say about it?
I said when you don't, it was the GIF when they won the NFC Championship. Kyle Shanahan's hugging everyone like he just found out his wife, they just having twins or something. And he's hugging, Saleh, McDaniel, just group hug. It's insane. And my quote I thought was really genius. When you don't even want the player, but you're glad your team is a national powerhouse again.
That's right.
Because I was doing a Periscope when he released his teams. Of course, like 4 people on Periscope were like, he just released the teams he wants to go to. The Raiders. And it's like 4 Raiders. I'm like, no, it's not the Raiders. And then people start giving me the real teams. Then I get off. I check the teams. And I was like, wow, it's the Niners, Yeah. So it's not like he's not just going to tax, zero tax places. Basically, you look at these teams. What do you think?
Wants to win.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
Wants to go somewhere sweet, right?
Before we really dive into this, though, listen, the Jets are a drama queen franchise. But he's played into that a little bit. I'd have to Google it and really do some research. It feels like the 3rd time he's requested a trade, right?
It does feel that way, yes.
Yeah, it's not. It's happened a couple times now. Remember, he got pissed off last year. He's been mad like 4 fucking times. Now, I give you somewhat when you come from LSU and you go to the Jets, and he's seen some weird shit in like a 2-year span, right? Quarterback mono, coach is fired. Weird stuff going on. Playing a quarterback last year that they didn't even give reps to because they were like tanking the game. I do understand from Jamal Adams' perspective. Again, not to relate this to Haber Middlecoff, but sometimes you just look in the mirror and you go, am I better than this situation?
Right.
And listen, I've called him a drama queen. He kind of wears me out, but I do understand. Put yourself in his shoes where he could think that. 6th pick in the draft, their best player. He does want to win. And then he doesn't feel like, well, you don't even want me? Just fucking get rid of me. It's not really the way it works. And the shitty part is, at the end of the day, guy, if he was a corner, not a safety, even the drama, right? We would just be like, okay, someone's going to trade a lot for him. Like if he was, because he'd be Jalen Ramsey or, someone like that.
Yeah.
I think it's more difficult. His position is kind of the running backs of defense, but actually not even. Because you'd rather have Christian McCaffrey than Jamal Adams, right? I would.
Yeah, depends who you are, though.
I'm just saying in a vacuum, most teams, if you just said you date Christian McCaffrey, because one of his arguments, you see he basically, he asked for this on Instagram, and he was mad that a guy in his draft class, a running back, Christian McCaffrey, CMC, he called him, I think, got broken off, and he didn't. Well, it's like, Jamal... One, they got rid of. We look at the Carolina Panthers. I talk about football for a living. I could probably name 10 players. The guy paid $2 billion in cash. Like the one thing Christian McCaffrey does have value to sell some tickets, and he is a really good player. But I understand why they signed him. They're not really signing him because they go, we're going to win a Super Bowl, Christian McCaffrey, right? That's not why they paid the money. It's like Jamal, you. I think sometimes when you bitch and moan, if you're not the elite of the elite, like Jalen Ramsey, and plays an elite, a premium position, I think you actually kind of hurt yourself, And I think sometimes he hurts himself in this, where if he just laid low a little bit, and that's the problem is, this guy would have fit in perfectly with the Legion of Boom, right? Because he has a big personality, he talks a lot of shit, and he is good.
And he's friends with Trent Williams apparently, because Trent tagged him in his post the other day of signing, whatever, his contract restructure.
You know what's funny? Until you pointed that out to me, because I saw about 3 people post it, I assumed, when you press it and it shows the guy's name, I just assumed, why is everyone tweeting this picture of him tagging himself? I thought Trent Williams was just tagging.
You thought his name was President Mall.
Or maybe, that's his agent. I don't know. And then now it completely makes sense. I kind of like what Trent Williams is doing there.
The problem with wanting to go to good teams, John, is good teams usually are kind of cash strapped up against the cap, right? The Chiefs, they got a Mahomes contract coming up. The Niners have a Kittle contract to deal with, not to mention on the horizon a couple other contracts. from their own guys like Fred Warner, not to mention if they end up wanting to keep Trent Williams next year, right?
Not to mention maybe they'd like a draft where they have some picks.
Not to mention that. So, I mean, as much as you love them,
well, the Cowboys have no space. The
Cowboys are
just about $30 million. The Ravens, they don't really operate like that. The Eagles did kind of their move. When you think the Eagles, you usually don't think first pay a premium for a premium. They like Howie would rather get Darius Slay for a 3 and a 5. Seahawks, you would say, would be the one team I'd keep an eye on, right? They've been just their history. They
don't like their first round picks anyway. So
yeah, they've been bold. I would say the Seahawks feel the most like. Now the Chiefs, I guess you never know. To me, they care less about that first rounder and more about the money that this guy would want. And even guy he makes, he was the 6th overall pick. You know?
Yeah, and yeah, I to me the one I hadn't thought of this beforehand, but the idea that if you're the Niners, you could end up with Jamal Adams in your division if he goes to Seattle. I mean, that would be bad. But ultimately, I think the story here for the Niners is not can they get Jamal Adams, right? The story is what you tweeted, basically, that they have made themselves in 3 years into a place people want to go. And it's obviously partly because they're good, right? He's not asking to go to the Texans because he just really wants to play for Bill O'Brien. But you'd say on this list, the Texans are the one team you'd go, well, I don't know if players like want to go play for Bob. The rest of these coaches seem like guys that players would want to play for. Now, maybe it's because coaches that win become guys that you want to play for. But the point is the Niners have put themselves, yes, they went to the Super Bowl, but I think a lot of it is the work that Kyle put in over the course of 2 years, just looking like a place where you're going to be able to maximize yourself. And you see DeForest Buckner just get paid. He didn't get paid by them, but he maximized who he was with that coaching staff. That is the story of this.
It's by far a good sign, right? It's a place where you want to play because you can win, you get better, you get paid.
It's like,
but I'll defend the Jets a little bit. You know, I think when you pick up a guy's 5th-year option, when you do that move, that immediately says we value you. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
The moment you pick it up, that team is saying we value you as a player.
Yeah.
We think we did not miss this pick, because when they do, they always decline it. I don't think the notion that they have to pay him right away means they don't like him. Right? I think his big issue with is, at least it feels like, that he's not going to get paid. And maybe it's as simple as this. If I'm not going to get paid with a place that I don't really like being, this sucks. And I'd say, Jamal, this shitty part sometimes of pro sports, you get stuck in a place where you don't want to be, because back to the value, the Niners aren't going to do it. And his value as a whole is probably not what he thinks, given how good he knows he is because of the position, right?
Well, yeah.
Like, I think the Niners would love to have him, and I think they would take him in a heartbeat. I'm assuming that they had him high on the board.
Well,
you can't. It's hard to assume. Who knows? Maybe they didn't. But I think their defense, he does fit the Seattle type, the power hitting safety. I can't see. They've mortgaged a lot of picks these last couple of years just doing shit.
I made that reaction not because I don't think they would like him, but just because they could have drafted him and they took Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, but I think you value a pass rusher.
No, I know. And the defensive line, valuing defensive line has proven to be
a formula that works in the NFL.
And it's working for them, so I get it. But I do wonder, part of me, just as we talk about this, John, I wonder, let's say the Niners had drafted Solomon Thomas.
Well, like, I'll give you one right now. Would you trade Javon Kinlaw, who's on a 5-year deal basically? We have no clue how good he's going to be, straight up for Jamal Adams?
Probably not, just because I know Jamal's got to get this money here soon.
Because like the Jets, the Jets might do that, right?
Yeah, it'd be sending them a middle round, first round pick,
who's under contract, just starting it, and a Jamal they don't even need to worry about anymore. So they basically.
Yeah, part of this is the Niners have proven that their philosophy works, so I'm not going to trade the defensive tackle that they think is going to be the anchor for the whole thing.
I'm not either, but that's what I'm.
So here's a question for you. Let's say the Niners had drafted Jamal Adams instead of Solomon Thomas. would that make their next 2 or 3 years even more complicated? Or would you just be like, he's a good player, you're just going to find a way to pay him, you're going to find a way to pay Kittle, you're going to find a way to pay Warner, you're going to find a way to pay Bosa. You're just going to find a way because you drafted a Pro Bowler and you're just going to keep him? Or would it be a little complicated right now?
It would be more. It would be more complicated.
To the point that he might be on another team like DeForest Buckner?
I think you'd think about trading him, yeah, if you get like a first or 2 twos or something. I think you'd be open-minded to stuff. Because they like DeForest Buckner, I would imagine, more than they could possibly like Jamal Adams if Jamal Adams was here, right?
Yeah.
DeForest was A+ character, A+ effort, A+ zero drama, and really good team captain. Like, you couldn't really ask anything more, and they traded him. And it was the right move, big picture, because it's the hard part about the NFL. I get a bunch of DMs often, like, and maybe one day they'll do this. It doesn't actually behoove you to have back-to-back drafts where you hit on like 8 guys. I mean, talking really hit, like 4 or 5 DeForest Buckner types, right? Like a George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, because it can all come. And because typically, if you're good, that means your quarterback makes a lot. That's where the Niners are a little lucky. Their quarterback doesn't make that much relative, right?
Yeah. I would say if you hit on that many drafts, though, you're a good drafter. You'd rather hit on those drafts than not.
But my point is that it's law averages. Typically, you're going to have like John Schneider, you're going to have a 0 draft. So you're going to be in a position where it's like, God, we want to keep all these guys and we can't because some of the guys coming up the pipe aren't as good.
Yeah.
The numbers are not on your side to go 80% every year, right?
But I'm just saying, I think
I know I understand, like, you'd rather hit on guys.
Shit happens.
I'm just saying
People
it
get hurt.
can become complicated.
Some people don't turn out to be the guy you think. Now, maybe if Jamal Adams is on another team, maybe he's playing for an organization that we view as a more stable one. He's not talking about trades every
because like, what if they had taken Jamal Adams? What if they had taken Jamal Adams? He's sweet. Reuben Foster, never been in trouble. You could start playing this game all day long. Yeah. You're like, well, shit, we got Fred Warner and Reuben Foster. You got this sweet little duo, and
right.
You don't re-sign Jimmy Ward, so it's a puzzle.
It is, and there's something to be said for. Now he needs to be healthy, but let's just say Kwaski Tart can just play for you for 5 more years, right? Where he's never so expensive that you can't keep him, right?
To me, they've got cutting or trading Kwaski Tart after this year and drafting a safety in like the 2nd or 3rd round.
Because even he's going to be too expensive.
Yeah. And just trying to get like I always call him Mike, but I think his name's Marcus Williams. The kid from Utah.
From Utah, yeah. The Saints.
Yeah, like I think the Saints took him in the 2nd or 3rd round on the 2nd day. Like, that to me is just what you want. Like, 3rd round, you get Marcus Williams. Right? Basically what they did with Kwaski. 2nd round, got Kwaski.
Yeah, just do it again.
That's the pushback a little bit. That's where I say the safety is the running back of defense. I'll find Marcus Williams in 3rd round. I'll find Kwaski Tart. I'll find whoever. I don't need to take Jamal Adams. Because at the end of the day, I like Jamal Adams. Like, he ain't Ed Reed, He ain't Troy. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
But he's really good at in the box, passing league.
I don't think he gets traded, do you?
No. But he's never gonna shut up.
And the Niners are gonna be on everybody's wish list. That's the beauty of that.
Come a long way.